another day. Oh, what a wonder, oh, what a waste. It's a Monday, it's so mundane. What exciting things will happen today? The yard is full of hard rubbish, it's a mess, and I guess the neighbors must think we run a meth lab. We should
The mastery of
that.
Courtney Barnett. One woman, one guitar, one voice. That's the right way to do it, man. Marcus Conte reporting for the first time in 2020. What does the future hold? What does the future hold? I just flashed across a couple of things I want to talk about. Judge Roberts, the dangers of fake news. We'll look at who's going to be on stage in the January Democratic debate. Look at some of the fake polling, new fake polling just in. Pete Buttigieg raising money out of his ass. Where's the money coming from? We'll find out. And he's despised among the liberal left. The kids hate fucking Buttigieg. 37-year-old mayor. I can't stand this guy. So we're not alone in hating Pete Buttigieg. Marcus Conte reporting. Before we dive in, I want to make a plea to my people that going into 2020, kindly become a Patreon of this channel, please. Wherever I may be, whether I'm on this channel or Marcus Conte News or spreading out into BitChute or fucking whatever else, DLive, wherever we go this year, I kindly become a Patreon so that this becomes a venture that is sustainable. And let's not listen to Justice John Roberts, and say that everything is fake news. Anything that isn't CNN or MSNBC isn't fake news. So become a Patreon of the channel. Try to help me get Marcus Conte News over 1,000 subscribers so it could be monetized. I think we're close. I think we're like 800. And so going forward, I just wanted to say that I've been kind of focusing, I think, too much time on my own investigating the LARP communities, investigating the rabbit holes of online, stuff. And it is, I mean, if you're a fan of this show, I mostly talk about news. I'm probably 85-90% news and maybe 10-15% true crime, which I consider the LARPing to some degree, a criminal kind of thing that involves harassment, that involves stalking, cyber stalking of people. So I've been taking a look at like that. I don't talk much about it. Well, actually I do, but not on this channel. I've been putting my head together with DeFango and other people in this community that kind of understand it maybe a little better than I do, and but we're doing pretty good with fending off a lot of the very pronounced predators out there, and they know who they are. We'll talk more about that as we go on. Also, I wanted to mention that on the note of LARPers, Friday, January 10, the QAnon killer will be in court in Staten Island. I'm almost certain I'll be there. It's a Friday. And that is the, whether what's funny is people think that I'm some kind of LARPer, right? No, I'm not a live action role player. I'm a reporter. I'm a guy who found an interest in this avenue of true crime. That's all I am, right? I'm no fucking. Do I go down the dark side sometimes to try to understand it a little bit? Yeah, I do. But I'm not a LARPer per se. That's part of the allure. That's part of the trap that this LARP community uses. That if you investigate, then you become part of the LARP. They try to frame you into the scenario, into the storyline. But meanwhile, you're just a mild-mannered person poking around, and the lies and all this stuff. They just start to pile on all this crazy shit. I know a lot of that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. So that's really all that matters. So let's look at some of these stories. Come on, let's talk. So his Chief Justice John Roberts warns about dangers of fake news. Oh, now that's not just anybody saying it. That's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court warning the people of fake news. Some read the annual New Year's Eve message as a rebuke of President Donald Trump. Let's see. Justice Roberts, who's on the verge of an extraordinarily high-profile balancing act presiding over impeachment trial of President Donald Trump, issued a warning on Tuesday about the dangers of misinformation in the internet era. I don't agree with that. I think that we are in an age of information where people are somewhat in control again. Mainstream media. I don't know. I would like to believe that independent media is on the rise, but it really isn't. We're still mostly wholly owned by Google, right here on YouTube, for example. But that statement right there is interesting because Justice Roberts will preside over the Trump impeachment as he'll be the judge of the Senate, and the Senate will ultimately vote. This is the quote. In our age, when social media can instantly spread rumor and false information on a grand scale, the public's need to understand our government and the protections it provides is even more vital. Let me read it again. In our age, when social media can instantly spread rumor and false information on a grand scale, the public's need to understand our government and the protections it provides is even more vital. Roberts declared in his annual New Year's Eve message, summing up the work of the federal judiciary. Now that's unprecedented. That's an opinion. That's clearly the justice of the Supreme Court giving an opinion on news. What about the Second Amendment? First Amendment. We have a First Amendment. We have a Second Amendment too, but we have a First Amendment, the right to free speech and of the press. Why is the justice saying that? What qualifies as fake news? Because it's not financed by the big pockets. It's fake. So it's just a little thing to look at. It's definitely a gray area. Definitely something to think about. Where the justice of the Supreme Court is deciding on what is fake news and what isn't. So here's who will be on stage January Democratic presidential debate in Iowa and how to watch it. Let's look. This is important because this will be the last time people debate prior to going to the polls in February. I think it's February 2nd is Iowa. Not really sure. On January 14th, CNN and Des Moines Register will co-host the 7th Democratic debate at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. In order to qualify for the January debate, the candidates must secure 225,000 unique donors and earn 5% in 4 DNC-approved national polls, 7% in 2 DNC-approved early state polls. So you need 5%. 5% of the vote. We'll look at the poll in a second. So far, who's qualified? Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg. So that would be interesting. 4. Now, who was on the last stage and isn't on that list is Steyer and Andrew Yang. I would have loved to see Andrew Yang up there because he has a powerful message. Get rid of Amy Klobuchar. But so that's good though. I'll take it. I'll take five people on stage, dueling it out on January 14th. So this is good. This is good stuff. Let's just look at on January 14th. CNN and Des Moines Register is scheduled to co-host the 7th debate. So it's June 14th. CNN has got their hand on it. The Democratic Committee announced they will hold 4 Democratic debates in each of the early primary states of Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina between January 14th and February 25th. So we have 4 more debates, and the Iowa caucus is February 3rd, then comes New Hampshire, then comes Nevada, then comes South Carolina, And then March 3rd, I believe, is Super Bowl Tuesday. That's the big event. 40% of the election is decided on that day alone. So here's the polls, fake polls. Do we believe them? I don't believe them. According to the fake polls, what is interesting is that Bernie Sanders is surging from 17% to 21%, and Elizabeth Warren is declining from 19% down to 14%. Because those are the only three that matters. Buttigieg isn't going to win shit. Amy Klobuchar's not going to win shit. Right? Bloomberg, they got him at 6%. Wow. See what money, the power of money can buy? Money. Right? And they got Joe Biden at 32. I don't believe it. Joe Biden is wildly unpopular amongst the millennials. He can't put 100 people. We still have not seen him put more than a few, 100 or 200 people in a room. His message just falls flat. How is he winning? Bernie Sanders is your winner. Bernie Sanders is your people's pick. No doubt about it. So let's talk about Pete Buttigieg for a second, because it is interesting that people are pumping money into this guy, right? Democratic candidate Pete Buttigieg raised $24 million in the final quarter of 2019. Democratic presidential hopeful Pete Buttigieg raised $24.7 million in the final quarter of 2019. That's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. He's raising money hand over fist. Where's he taking the money? He's a corporatist. So that is a tell. Always follow the money. And it looks like the money is piling it on top of Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden and probably a little bit of Elizabeth Warren. The only one who's not taking the billionaire money is who? Bernie Sanders. Pete Buttigieg enrages the young left. I thought he was a young guy, right? Fucking, young gay mayor from Bend. He's Bend over Indiana, right? He's fucking Bend over Indiana, right? And, as the Iowa New Hampshire primary draw near, the South Bend's boy wonder, Pete Buttigieg seems buoyant in all important early state polls. Mayor Pete has been perpetually dodged by a major issue. The youngest and most activated voters in his party all seem to, how do you put this delicately, hate his guts. Poor Pete. Poor Pete. Wrong hole, Pete. Wrong hole, Pete. That's what they should call him. Right? It's in, not out. It's exit only, Pete. It's exit only. It's out, not in. Right? That's fucking crude shit, man. It's a fucking crude fucking joke, man. So Marcus Conte, trying to get my energy up for this new year, and you could help me get that energy up by becoming a Patreon of this channel, right? And restore hope and faith to the internet online movement. Now, there is no growth on YouTube. I get that. I know. But word of mouth. See, I'm a fan of, I've made the analogy of Metallica, who sold 1 million records with no radio play in an era where radio play was everything. And I believe in that. I believe that a people-funded, news broadcast is good enough, right? Because if you got, like, I only have, 7,000, 8,000 subscribers, right? But I have engaged audience. I know that, right? And there's people that I've watched that have, somehow they have a 70,000 or 100,000 number next to their subscribers, but they only draw a couple of hundred, right? So I believe that that number, that subscription number, is not important. I think I make a splash, out there in the world, in the world of news. And so again, this LARPer thing, I want to emphasize that I am on top of it, and that there's a lot of activity going on. There's a lot of legal papers flying back and forth. Websites getting shut down, finally, harassment-oriented sites getting shut down with the help of yours truly and others that are trying to clean up house a little bit. We're trying to clean up house, right? You could spin it any way you want. Every time you come near the LARP community, suddenly you become the villain. They're trying to sue you in court. They're trying to trying to keep you off, trying to keep you away, trying to back you off, trying to make you the villain for coming in and trying to save the day, trying to shed a little light on where there is none. So what's just going on, man? Have a good day. We're gonna try to get some live stream going too today.
She wants to plant in them. I wanna grow tomatoes on the front steps, sunflowers, bean sprouts, sweet corn and radishes. I feel proactive. I pull out weeds. All of a sudden, I'm having trouble breathing in. I'm having trouble breathing in. I'm having trouble breathing in. I'm having trouble